Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Forecast. And Liverpool have won against Everton. As a Liverpool fan, that was a nervous sort of last 30 minutes after Everton got that goal, but we have found a way, probably our first half performance warranted, but we really need to sort out in the second half, and this is going to be part of the main discussion, is how do we play better in that second half, because we can't keep being 2-0 up and bottling leads. It's not good enough. It really isn't. We didn't bottle it today, but we could have easily at points. If you do enjoy this video though, please subscribe to the channel. Any support would be really appreciated. I'm trying to grow the channel into the future. So how did Liverpool start this game? Well, they started this game absolutely brilliantly, didn't they? Straight from kickoff, and it was exactly what I wanted to see. In a derby, set the tempo. You're at home. Don't go in looking to sort of settle yourself and go in hard, go in fast, and ensure that you get a great start. And that's exactly what we did for the Ryan Gravenberch goal, which is a brilliant ball in by Mo Salah. And up to that point, we looked like easily the dominant side, as you can sort of see from this momentum graph. I'm not always a believer in these sort of graphs, but that momentum graph really did show what was happening at the very start of the game. Liverpool were pounding on the pressure, and eventually it did happen. And then once again, Liverpool found the second goal through Hugo Etitke. Once again, Ryan Gravenberch was outstanding in this first half. Definitely the best player on the pitch in the first half, and once again sort of proves why he's one of the best DMs in the world, but also proves he's more than just a holding midfielder, as I think every Liverpool fan knew. We just didn't quite get to see the opportunity last season. I thought the midfield was superb in that first half. Dominic Szoboszlai, McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch were all brilliant. But after that second goal, we really just dropped off. And this is something I've been really critical of Arsenal last year especially, and also other clubs in the past, is when you're 1 or 2-0 up, keep pushing, and then you sort of kill the game off. We never killed the game off. I just can't understand why. Happened against Bournemouth, happened against Newcastle, happened against Atletico Madrid, when we've been on top in games, and all we need to do is probably get that third or fourth, which we could have easily done that first half. Everton didn't know what they were doing in that first half. They looked crap. I just can't get it. What was going on? Everton were out of ideas. All they were doing was going long to Beto, who has the first touch of a tackle, and he couldn't hold up the ball at all. And also, any runs were behind were sort of being stopped by the skiddy surface. We had to go in. We had to start better than that. Well, after this 2 goals went in, we had to start pushing for the third, I think, and that was Slot's major mistake of today. I think Slot tried to conserve energy, and he's worried about what happened last season when we sort of blowed out sort of halfway through the season. I think he's more worried now about fitness levels. He's trying to maintain that until the rest of the season, like he rested players today, which I don't think he would have done last season. He would have just kept playing the first team. So I really think that Slot is worried about fitness levels. He wants to push for the Champions League later, but I mean, we've got away with it again, but if we keep doing this, eventually we are going to drop points, and eventually that sort of laying off pressure did result in a Dressagana Gay goal. Now, this is when I got roaring feelings of they're going to equalise here. They looked like the better side for most of that second half, but then Liverpool, for like 10-15 minutes, they brought on the subs, and we started to look like a better side. I think the subs were needed at that point, bringing on some players like Curtis Jones, getting Isak on the pitch, getting Verts on the pitch, just getting something different on the pitch is what Liverpool needed to do at this point to try change the game. And this did sort of wrestle back momentum for 10 minutes, but at no point did I actually feel like Liverpool were going to score. I felt if the next goal scorer was going to come, it was going to be Everton, and that's what's concerning. I think what we wasted was, as I was saying here, this is the chance in this part of the first half, go for the third, and Liverpool win easily and comfortably, and Liverpool will win this game probably 4 or 5-0, or maybe 4-1. Maybe they get one consolation, but there's no way that they get that close, and that is what's frustrating me about Liverpool currently. I do agree to a certain extent that scoring in late winners, or like showing that sort of mentality to get over when you're like performing badly, is a good thing, and I do agree with that. But at some point we've got to start going, look, we can't consistently do this, because eventually it will not pay off, and eventually we will concede a goal later on. It doesn't always sort of work out like we're sort of hoping, and I think eventually this is going to happen unless Slot looks to sort of kill off games earlier. Look, the games where it's tight, I can understand. The Burnley, the Arsenal game, fine. it's understandable that we have to score late because we're struggling. But in these sort of games where I think we just had all the momentum and we could have easily found that goal so much earlier, I just can't quite understand this from Arne Slot, and I am starting to question his management in these sort of situations. I don't question the fact he's a world-class manager, but I am questioning how is he managing these games. Maybe it's the players. Maybe the players get nervous when they go 2-0 up now as well. Maybe that's a bit of a mentality issue, but there's something not quite right with that. Why do we always make that same mistake? And it was something that was creeping into our game last year. I remember Wolves. I remember Everton equalised in the last couple of minutes. I remember Villa. Games where we look cruising and then all of a sudden something switches and we can't get a hold of the game. I mean, we could barely play a pass in that second half, so I really think Slot does need to sort this out. So who were some of the key outstanding players in both sides for this game? I thought Van Dijk once again was brilliant and he did sort of everything right as pretty much usual. Obviously Ryan Gravenberch was brilliant. Everyone in the second half though dropped off, especially the attack. I thought Gakpo was pretty quiet and I'm starting to think maybe you go Hugo Etitke and Isak up front when everyone's match fit, or Florian Wirtz off the left. I think that is something that they should look at. I thought Dom was very good in the first half. I mean, I thought Kerkez was reasonably good. He did everything he needed to do today, and I thought he handled himself against Njai pretty well, even though Njai managed to get the contribution. And I thought right at the end when Everton were pushing, O'Brien was coming forward, I thought Kirk has made a couple of key headers which could have easily resulted in an Everton equaliser. And obviously Mo Salah, I mean, he was quiet at points again, but he played that beautiful pass into Ryan Gravenberch, who scored the goal. From an Everton perspective, because I'm going to try to talk about Everton where I think they played well, I thought Tarkowski did very well today instead of just stopping us right when we needed to, like the Florian Wirtz chance. He made a couple of other crucial blocks, same with Mikalenko. So the whole back four did quite well in that terms. And I thought Idrissa Gana Gueye played well, especially in that second half, obviously getting the goal. James Garner, I thought, played well again. I think Dewsbury Hall also is probably going to go a bit underrated this game. I thought he got into the pockets really well and just did everything you want for sort of from your midfielder. Got into the pockets well, and there wasn't a lot of space in that first half, but I actually thought he used what space he was given very well, and same with the second half. Jack Grealish, I mean, he was always going to be a threat. I thought Liverpool handled him really well in the first 30 minutes. And then that same issue I keep going back to of Liverpool just letting Everton sort of get back into the game. I don't think Everton played well to get back into that game, or just something changed for Everton. I think something changed for Liverpool, and that is what concerns me as a Liverpool fan. That wasn't Everton doing anything special. That was Liverpool letting them back into the game. We've got to stop doing this to sides. Atletico Madrid looked terrible, and then this happened. So we really need to sort this out. How do we stop teams from getting momentum when we are clearly on top and when they're not actually playing well? Iliman Jai, I thought, played well again. I mean, he was the real threat I was concerned up against Kerkez. I thought Kerkez did reasonably well against him. Against a very talented winger. And as I said earlier, I thought Beto was crap. I mean, he's got the first touch of a tackle. They need a new striker and they need to sort this out. And then I thought Barry came on. It didn't do a lot again. Everton strikers are just not very impressive. I would have liked to see Dibbling earlier, I think, and maybe Alcaraz early when they were chasing the game, or like Dwight McNeil. I think Dwight McNeil would have been a really useful weapon in today's game. Someone that could deliver the ball into the box into the last 10 minutes. I think that was a sub they should have made. It is so hard to take off your best players in Grealish and Njai. Maybe you take off Dewsbury Hall, you move Njai into the centre or something, I don't know. Maybe take off James Garner. Maybe you just have to risk it somewhere. But I do feel like that's something Everton could have done. Just get more attackers on the pitch and just really send it just a bit more. And yeah, so just a quick sort of sum up of how Everton played. I think Everton really went with the wrong strategy in greasy conditions, sort of going long to Beto. It was never sort of going to work. And I thought Everton really sorted out in the second half. But I don't think Everton really ever played that well. I think it was Liverpool mistakes. And as a Liverpool fan, that's what I keep going back to. That's concerning. We can't keep having this. We can't keep making mistakes that lets teams back in without them playing very well. But in summary, I'm very happy to have the 3 points in the Merseyside derby. Look, once again, we've found a way to win while we're playing bad. Let's hope this is a positive. I still think it probably is, but that sort of game does concern me. We shouldn't be letting sides back into games. Please let me know your thoughts on the game, Liverpool's performance. Do you agree with my assessment? Do you think we actually just let Everton back into the game? And if you enjoyed the video, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, as any support is greatly appreciated.